Hi, this is Mats Eriksson doing my screencast for Unit 4 for ATM 101, the weather and climate of Alaska, at the University of Alaska Fairbanks in Fairbanks, Alaska. Last week, I did my observations at the Cutler Apartments on the UAF campus, which is right here. It's situated on a hill, and I did my observations from February 27th through 31st, and they were done in the morning between 7:30 and 9 a.m. And I've compared them to data from the National Weather Service and their location at the Fairbanks International Airport here. And this is a summary of my observations from last week that I will talk about today. The temperatures that I measured at my site were a little bit different from the ones from the Fairbanks International Airport. Many of them were a little bit higher or a little bit warmer than those at the airport, and this is probably because my observation site is on a hill. And this, with it being warmer on the hill, I can really feel that in the winter when I'm running. As soon as I go down the hill, I can almost draw a line in the road where I know that the cold is going to hit me every time I run. It's kind of interesting actually. And instead of reading the temperatures for both the left and right thermometer, I just took the average of the two for the purpose of this presentation. So on Monday the 27th, the current temperature was 26.1 Fahrenheit. The max was 43.6 Fahrenheit. The minimum was 24.5 compared to the data from the airport that showed a temperature of 15 degrees Fahrenheit. On Tuesday the 28th, the current temperature at my site was 24.5 degrees Fahrenheit. The max was 27.5. Minimum was 24.5, and the data from the airport said 15 degrees. On Wednesday, the 29th, the current temperature at my observation site in the morning was 14.7. The maximum during the day was 28.3, and the minimum was 14.6. At the airport, it was 10 degrees at the time of the observation. On Thursday the 30th, the current temperature was 4.7 at my site. Maximum was 20.6, minimum 4.2, and at the airport it was 2 degrees. On Friday the 31st, the current temperature was 2.4, maximum was 10.6, minimum was 1.3, and at the airport it was -2. And as you can see from the graph, the temperature dropped during the period of my observations. There was more or less no cloud cover early in the morning when I did my observations any days of the week. On Thursday, though, there was some kind of lighter ice fog or some kind of clouds over the town in the morning, but that disappeared during the day. The wind was, well, there basically was no wind. If there was any wind at all, I would barely just feel it in my face, and when I felt it, it was coming from southwest or west. I'm guessing it was really hard to tell because it was just so light. And my values for the atmospheric pressure um, were also very similar to those at the airport. The pressure increased throughout the week, and on Monday I recorded 1013 millibars. The airport recorded the same. Tuesday, the 28th, I recorded 1012 millibars, and it was also the same at the airport. Wednesday, 29th, I recorded 1016 millibars, and the airport showed 1017 millibars. On Thursday, the 30th, I recorded 1022 millibars, and at the airport it was 1023 millibars. On Friday the 31st, I recorded 1025 millibars, and the data from the airport showed 1026 millibars. So now let's go over the TV weather maps from my week of the observations. This is the map from Tuesday, January 28th, and we can see 2 high pressure systems and 3 low pressure systems. The interior seems to have mostly clear skies, and there seemed to be a cold front coming down from north. On Wednesday, one of the high pressure systems has moved in over Alaska, and this map shows a little bit more clouds than Tuesday's map did. On Thursday, there are still 1 or 2 high pressure systems over Alaska, and the pressure has increased slightly from the previous day. There's also some fog, according to the map. And you should remember that I did my observations in the morning, and I didn't see anything during my observation, but then throughout the day, I saw a little bit more clouds. On Friday, there was still a high pressure system over the interior of Alaska, and the atmospheric pressure had increased a little more since the previous day, which is consistent with my observations at my site too. There also seemed to be a cold front coming in from southwest. Here is the TV weather map and the satellite images for January 29th. On the TV map up to the left, we see a high pressure system over southern Alaska and parts of the interior. It also shows some fog or clouds over the state. This is also consistent with what the visibility image up to the right shows. On the infrared image, we can clearly see the 2 cold fronts that are moving east toward Alaska. It is seen as brighter areas on the map. The water vapor image shows some water vapor, but mostly just a thin layer of clouds over parts of the state. And yeah, all these images, they show some form of clouds, which I didn't see when I did my observations. The skies were clear in the morning, so I think that these images were from later in the day, probably. And that's all I have for you for this week. So thank you for watching.